In the process of receiving such a strong reflection from the universe, such a wonderful, wonderful lesson. And I know that because it's killing me, because I feel sick in my stomach, because I can feel my ego literally being pulled apart by this. Only after, it's such a strong lesson that at first I did approach it with my ego because I couldn't accept it. Okay, so basically 3 days ago, I think it is now, I'm driving along. I don't even know how it fucking happened, to be honest, other than I'm driving on a bike where the brakes barely work. That's, a big reason. But I just don't know. I don't know how I ended up in the back of it, but I ended up in the back of this fucking car. Totally my fault. And I stop, I get off the bike, I give her my number, I apologize, I say, yes, of course I'll pay for it. There's no dispute, there's no who's right and who's wrong here. It's absolutely 100% my fault. And give her my number, stand with her for 10 minutes, and then she starts making phone calls. She starts calling people, and she's saying, obviously it's in Vietnamese, but she's saying shop names, that she's clearly calling people there. And then she starts saying 10 million dong, which is like almost 400 quid. So the bumper's cracked. Like there's a little hairline crack on the bumper, that's it. So I panic. I'm just like, what's about to happen? I mean, is a gang of locals about to turn up and like take me around ATMs and extort me? And I panic, and I act out of integrity. I act from ego and, fear. And I do a runner. I mean, I haven't done a runner. It's not a hit and run because I've given her my details. I've told her that I'm going to sort it out. But I panicked when she started calling friends and speaking about, large amounts of money for a very small crack. In the land of like incredible craftsmanship. Like if you saw that video on my other channel, where I had a bike repair on an island, like £2.50, and it was incredible. And yes, it was a bodge job, but it was fucking brilliant. Okay, so then, I'm very stressed, I'm panicking, I don't really know what to do, and she's calling me non-stop, so I don't answer her call. So I can see from her point of view that she thinks I'm doing a runner. I accept that that's how it looks to her. But actually, I'm just panicking, and I'm just overwhelmed, and I just need 24 hours before I communicate with her again. And then I wake up to this. It was actually a comment on, somebody commented like, slagging me off. You've done a hit and run, but you make us look bad. And I read that comment, I was like, so this is obviously on a video that's filmed before this incident. I'm just like, what the fuck? And then I realised, I'm like, oh, okay, there's something out there about this, and then I look on my Facebook and there it is. I think I do a really good job of not letting it bother me, not letting, the ego get, oh, well, what do people think? Oh, they've got the wrong end of the stick. Oh, this is unfair that she's posted this when this isn't really what happened. Although I can understand from her point of view why she feels she needs to do that. And there was none of that. It was just a chuckle, really. Right, so what's happening here? Right, so basically what's happening is she has taken the car to the official Ford garage. And of course they've said it needs a whole new bumper. And they've said it is about, I think, £360. So I of course am going to pay for this repair, and I already know that, and I also know that she is not going to accept a bodge job, even if it looks perfect. She's going to want, like, she's middle class, she's status driven, she's materialistic, she's an NPC. So of course they're just going to want, like, the thought of any sort of imperfection to them will just drive them crazy. So basically I've spent 24 hours debating with this woman, trying to convince her to go to what I would call a proper garage, a non-scam, non-official, non-corporation garage, real people. Which has caused her stress and has then caused me some stress because she's gone on this spin that I'm trying to get out of it and put it on Facebook. So he said, but here's the crux. I know, one, that she's not going to accept not going to a Ford garage. I know this. I know 2, that 400 quid makes no difference to me. I know 3, that this is just a lesson, and if I lean into it, rather than getting resistant and trying to control and manipulate out of scarcity and fear and not trusting, but it will all just come back to me tenfold anyway, because it's that energy that stops abundance. If one can learn to not live in it, what the fuck was that? Something was crawling on me. Live in resistance and fear and control, and live in trust and flow, then guess what? Abundance will flow, because you've created that space. So I know all of this, and I'm still doing it. I've still let my ego for 24 hours try and control this situation that is uncontrollable, and also has just come as a lesson. It's just come as another offering into, do you want to flow with ease? When something comes up which is a bit of an injustice, do you want to try and fight that, or do you want to just go, okay, no problem. There you go, it makes no difference to me. I'll just keep flowing and no longer think about this. So basically, to try and save, let's say 300 quid, maybe 250 quid, I've had this energy for 24 hours rather than this energy. And yeah, it's like this reflection that there's no amount of money, there's no amount of physical, there's no amount of material that is ever worth sacrificing for. And just seeing how much that part of me that wants to control ruins my life. Ruins all sense of peace, ruins all sense of flow, all sense of trust. It's ridiculous. But I had to allow it to happen for 24 hours to become aware of it, to this degree. Obviously, I've been aware of how the ego works like this on many other levels, but like now we're getting to a new level, which I'm not saying is like amazingly deep or amazingly enlightened. It's still completely retarded and still actually very obvious. But seeing as most people don't even separate themselves from the ego, they just are the ego, it is quite a deep level to say like the level of indoctrination we live in as a society, the level of unconsciousness, the lack of awareness around this way of being. So again, I suppose I'm now, so this morning I sent one final message, just like saying, you know, can we just try another garage and see what they say? And obviously she's going to say no, and then I'm just going to pay it. And I'm already starting to feel that sense of relief. So what used to make me feel sick, spending 9 million dong on a corporation that's just completely unnecessary because, you know, essentially someone's repressed and restricted. You know, that was making me feel sick when I was trying to control it from the ego. But now I've moved to this place of just like, oh, I just can't wait for this situation to be over. Like, no amount of money is worth being in this energy. Like, I can already feel the relief of, I think I'm going to actually go into a Ford garage with the invoice. She sent me the invoice and just pay the invoice and then let her know and say, you can just take your car whenever you want. It's already paid for. And, you know, I can already feel the sense of relief in that and actually how great it's going to be. Whereas usually in a situation like this, I might get to this place where I accept, okay, I just need to do this, but there'd still be resistance and resentment there. Whereas I can really feel this is the first time in a situation like this, because I've had fucking millions of them, obviously. And where I'm actually just going to feel like, oh, peace. And then, you know, if that really does occur, which I'm pretty sure it will, by which I mean paying this money with a sense of gratitude, then these situations will stop. You know, the universe will just bring you the lessons until you learn them. What isn't learned today will just come back tomorrow. There's a really beautiful way of saying it, something around reflection, but I forget it. But yeah, essentially the lessons you resist today will just keep coming back tomorrow. So I've, when it comes to money, my ego has still had quite a lot of control, and of course still does. I'm not saying that's totally dissolved, but another layer of it is dissolving. And I truly believe that if I can, but it can't come from ego. Like I can't tell myself I'm doing it with gratitude. I have to actually feel the gratitude. You know, to transmute that energy, you know, it has to be real. It has to be felt. It has to be, you know, authentic. It has to exist. It can't just be from the mind, from the ego, telling itself it's doing something. Which is how all this starts out. When I refer to the spiritual ego, that's what it is. Like when you're, you know, it's like how a lot of people understand karma. Like if I do something good, good will come to me. Like I have moments where I drive past, you know, somebody who's in real poverty out here, and it comes up in me to give them money, and sometimes I do. But noticing that when that comes up, it's partly coming up out of like, oh, sympathy, and just like, I just want to fucking make this person, like give this person a really good day, and a really like, I want to help this person. But what also comes up with it is this story that if I do that, the universe will reward me. And it's like this, that's the spiritual ego. It's like still trying to manipulate from a spiritual place. So it's basically not, I'm just going to use the word enlightenment. It's not true depth, it's not true authenticity. They're better words, actually. It's still trying to manipulate and control, but from a good place. Rather than the standard manipulation and control of like narcissism and lies and personas and utter fakery, working a normal job, having to sacrifice any authenticity, any stoicism, any wisdom, just for the paycheck. What do you make of that one? I'll see you in the comments below.